My dear students, welcome back to CMI's online classes. In today's class, we are going to continue with chapter 17 of our English grammar, that is transformation of sentences for the students of standard 8. In our previous video on the same chapter, we discussed about some 4 basic rules of transformation of sentences, and today in this video we are going to continue with the same explanation and some more explanation about the same chapter. So in our previous video I had to explain 8 basic rules of transformation of sentences, but due to lack of time I could not explain all the rules of transformation of sentences. So today I am present again with the video on same chapter, in which I am going to continue with my explanation about the transformation of sentences. So in my previous video I was able to explain 4 basic rules, that means rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3 and rule number 4. And now today I am continuing with rule number 5, rule number 6, rule number 7 and rule number 8. Now in rule number 5 we have the rules of transforming sentences by changing the type of sentences according to function. Okay, now rule number 6, by changing the voice of the verb. Voice of the verb. Okay, now rule number 7, by changing direct speech into indirect speech. And last, rule number 8 is by changing the type of sentences according to its constituent clauses. So now we will go with these points one by one in detail. Okay students, now let us first discuss about rule number 5 of transformation of sentences by changing the type of sentences according to function. See, according to function, sentences are of 4 kinds. Number 1, assertive sentences. Number 2, interrogative sentences. Number 3, imperative sentences. And number 4, exclamatory sentences. See, these 4 kinds of sentences are according to the kind of expression they deliver. Understood? So, according to function, we have 4 kinds of sentences: assertive, interrogative, imperative and exclamatory sentences. So each kind of sentence express different actions differently, okay, expressions differently. So now today in this video we are going to understand how to change assertive sentences into interrogative sentences, again that interrogative sentences into exclamatory sentences, that exclamatory sentences again into assertive sentences, okay, and again to interrogative sentences. See, so here we are learning to change a kind of sentences according to function to another kind of sentences according to function. Now see here, and we know that most of the sentences in English are assertive sentences. Okay, so today we will learn to transform assertive sentences into another kinds of sentences. Just you have to look at the board. We have some examples here. See here, example number 1. You are ordered to bring 2 cups of coffee for the guests. See, this is assertive sentence. Don't be confused with this sentence that this is imperative sentence. No, because in imperative sentences we don't have subject. Okay, in imperative sentences we have to understand the subject, and subject is usually understand as you in imperative sentences, but here we have both subject here. So this is an assertive sentence. Now see, you are ordered to bring 2 cups of coffee for the guest. This is an assertive sentence. Now when you change it into imperative sentence, now we are changing assertive sentence into imperative sentence. See, cups of coffee for the guests. Now these two sentences have the same meaning. Whatever they want to express is same, but they are expressed in a different way. One is assertive sentence, another is imperative sentence. Understood? Now come to example number 2. Example number 2. You have a big and beautiful house. This is also an assertive sentence. Now we are trying to change this into exclamatory sentence, and I have told you that most of the exclamatory sentences are formed by using WH words. Okay, WH words followed by adjective, and at last we get subject, and at last we get the verb, helping verb or main verb. That means if we frame exclamatory sentences by using WH words, then those exclamatory sentences end with verbs. Okay, or we can also say end with subject followed by verbs. Verbs may be both helping verbs or main verb. So for example, we have here, you have a big and beautiful house. So how? What type of house? Okay, see how. It tells us about the how of the house. So here, see, if you read this assertive sentence, here you is subject. So now we have to use this subject at the end, followed by the verb. Verb is also here. Okay. Now, if we change this into exclamatory sentence, see here. How big and beautiful house you have. See, subject and verb. The sentence ends with subject and verb. At last we have verb and exclamatory sentence, so it ends with exclamation mark. Both the sentences express the same meaning but in different way. Okay. Now come to example number 3. You should tell me the reason for not calling me last night. So this is also an assertive sentence. You should tell me the reason for not calling me last night. So now we are changing this sentence into interrogative sentence, question sentence. Now, why didn't you call me last night? Why didn't you call me last night? That means he wants to know the reason. So here you should tell me that. Here also the subject wants to know the reason. So both the sentences mean the same, want to say the same thing but in a different way. So this way, these are the examples. Okay, this way we can change a kind of sentence into another kind of sentence without changing their actual meaning. Okay, if you see all these examples, the meanings of the sentences are not changed, only the way of expressing it with the change of kinds of sentences according to their function we have changed it. Understood? Now we have to understand the transformation of sentences by changing the voice of verbs. Voice of verbs means by changing the forms of verbs. Voice means the forms of verbs. Not only the forms of verbs, here we have to understand. Here, when we understand the forms of voice of verbs, it is understood in a manner that how the action is done by the subject. See, if we learn about the forms of the verbs tell us about the action. Okay, if the action is done there in the sentence, in sentences, that means someone is there to perform this action. Okay, so now when we are changing that voice of verbs, there are certain changes in the way we write the sentences also. We have to understand the subject and object of the sentence. We also know that I have told you that if the action has taken place in sentences, that means someone is there to perform that action. Okay. So the noun or pronoun who perform that action are called the subject. And if the another nouns and pronouns are there after the verb to receive the action of the action done by the subject, they are the object. Okay, object of the verb. See, subject of the verb. Verb is in between. Okay, verb means action. Subject means those nouns and pronouns who are doing that action, and object means those nouns or pronouns who are receiving the action done by the subject. Okay, but action has to be there. Okay, so see, when we change the voice of the verbs to change the sentences, to follow the rules of transformation of sentences, okay, there won't be any change in the tense of sentence. Tense is not changed, only the way of expression is same verb is used. Okay, the sentence will be rewritten in the same tense, but only how to change the forms of verb we have to understand. See here, if we speak about voice, we have two voices in our English grammar based on how we express the same action. Okay, how do we express the same action? In two ways. Here we have to understand about voice. See, if that sentence expresses something in which the action is being done directly by the subject, that means the sentence is in direct speech. Okay, and after reading that sentence, if we find that something has been done to the subject, okay, and the action is expressed in such a way that most of the focus is given to the object, in that case the sentence is in passive voice. That means according to the change in the voice of verbs, sentences can be written in two ways. One in active voice and another in passive voice. Active voice and passive voice. In active voice, we write sentences to express that the subjects are the direct doer of the action. Okay, but in passive voice, we write in such a way that if we change that active voice into passive voice, we have to change the place of subject to object and object to subject. Okay, understood? So when we write sentences in passive voice, then we have to change the place of subject to object and object to subject. Okay, and other changes is the main verb in active voice, whatever the main verb should be, whether it is B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, any forms of voice will be changed into V3. If V3 is there, again V3 we have to use. Otherwise, B1 will change into B3, B2 will change into B3, B4 will change into B3, and B5 will change into B3. Okay, and when we use that subject into object and object into subject, so in passive voice, before writing object, we have to replace it by the preposition by. Understood? So here we have some examples like he calls me Tommy. So this sentence is in simple present tense. Simple present tense. Now see, whenever we write the sentences in passive voice, we have to change the main verbs into B3. But before B3, we have to write the groups of to be verbs. To be verbs means is, am, are, was and were, be, been, being. These are the groups of to be verbs. So before the main verb B3, we have to use to be verbs. So it depends upon the tenses. He calls me Tommy. So this is simple present tense. So is, am, or are. We use either is, am and are if the sentences are in simple present tense. Okay, see here. He calls me Tommy. So he is subject here. Calls is main verb here. Me is object here. Okay. Me is object here. Object. Now we have to change the place of subject to object and object to subject. See. See, me became I here. When me is pronoun, so subjective pronoun, when is objective pronoun is changed into subjective pronouns, here pronouns also change their forms. Now see here, me becomes I here. I. Calls become, this is B5. Now this has become called, B3. But I told you before B3 we have to write to be verb. To be verb plus B3 is passive voice. To be verb plus B3 is passive voice. So this is simple present tense. So I am called Tommy by him. So he becomes him here. Object. Before object we write the preposition by. Okay. Understood? See, if the sentence would be simple past tense, like he called me Tommy. He called me Tommy. Simple past tense है. So we should write either was or were. Okay, like I was called Tommy by him. He called me Tommy. I was called Tommy by him. In the same way, we have already discussed about this in our previous class also, passive voice and active voice. Now you need to follow it. You need to go through it. Understood? Now see here. Simple present tense, simple past tense. Accordingly, we have to change. Understood? Now come to the second example. He is cleaning my room. Cleaning my room. Okay? Now cleaning my room. See, cleaning my room. This is he is cleaning my room. This is present continuous tense. Present progressive tense. Now cleaning will be cleaned. See, B3. Here main verb is B4 and we have to change it into B3. Understood? B3. Now we have to change subject into object. Subject became object here. Him. And object, my room. Object here, it has become subject here. Okay? Now, see, he is cleaning my room. Now, clean has become here. Now, the sentence is simple, present continuous tense. We have to write the sentence passive voice also in present continuous tense. Tense will not change its form. Okay. Now, simple present continuous tense we have to use B4. Okay. But passive voice we have to use B3 also. Okay. Confusion. Now we have to include both these requirement of our English grammar. So here subject, my room is being. Now see, being is before of to be verb. Okay, being is before of to be verb. So the requirement I have fulfilled here. The requirement of before is fulfilled here. My room is being cleaned by him. So here now the sentence is in present continuous tense but in passive voice. Same tense, same sentence, same meaning, but the expression is different. Now come to this one. Ram has decorated my room. Ram has decorated the gate. Ram has decorated the gate. Ram is subject, the gate is object. So decorated already B3. Now we have to use B3 also. Same B3 will be used, but in passive voice we have to use to be verb also, but we don't have to be verb here. And after has, have, had, we have to use B3 form. So now that requirement we have fulfilled by using been. Been is the B3 form of the verb to be verb. So here after has, have, had, we have to use B3 also. So that requirement is fulfilled here. Has, have, had, after has, have, had, B3. And main verb also B3. Okay. So object, the gate has been decorated by Ram. Ram is subject here, Ram is object here. Understood? So subject and object will change their place, and now main verbs will change into B3, and before B3 we have to use the group of to be verbs in passive voice. Okay, now come to this one. The police will have caught the thieves. This is future perfect tense. Okay, future perfect tense. The thieves will have been caught by the thieves. Same. No change of tense, only the change in the use of forms of word and the change of subject and object, but the tense is changed, but the tense is same, only the expression of the same action or same expression is different. Understood? So this way also by changing the voice of words we change the we also follow the transformation of sentences. So here, in case of changing the voice of words, we should be very much aware about the different forms of word. If you are not aware about the different forms of word, you will not be able to change the voice of words. So, to understand the voice of forms of words, it is very much important for you all to understand the process of transformation of sentences following the change of the voice of words. Understood? So we have so many examples in our book. I hope you can do it. Now we will discuss about transformation of sentences by changing direct speech into indirect speech. So here, unlike writing or changing active voice into passive voice, here we need to make changes in tenses whenever we change direct speech into indirect speech. But first we have to understand what is direct speech and what is indirect speech. Here, direct speech means any kind of expression, any kind of statement given. When we write those statement, those sentences, those speeches without making any change as given by the speaker, when we write them without making any changes, then it is called direct speech. Okay, direct speech means the statement given by the speaker. Okay, when we write those speeches, those statements without making any changes as it is written, we also write the same, then it is called direct speech. But in indirect speech, we change that speech, that statement given by the speaker according to our convenience. Okay, in our own way, we make the speech given by the speaker our own speech by making some changes. In that way, the speech we write becomes indirect speech. Okay, understood? See here, when we write the sentences in direct speech, we write the statement given by the speaker as it is without making any change, and that speech, when we write as it is in a sentence, we have to write with enclosing it with inverted commas. Enclosing it with inverted commas. Like here, if you see, what are you doing here? See, this is the speech given by the speaker. Okay, and I have written here without making any change out of it. So I have placed it by using inverted comma. I can use both double or single inverted comma. Okay, so here I have used double inverted comma. What are you doing here? So this is the speech given by the speaker. The speaker is here. Teacher. Teacher said, what are you doing here? So here teacher, this is the statement. Speech means statement. Okay. So this is the real statement given by the speaker. Speaker here is the subject. Subject means the teacher. Teacher is here. Teacher is the subject here because teacher has spoken this word. What are you doing here? So what are you doing here? This is the statement given by the subject. So this is reported speech also we can say here. Reported speech. Okay. Reported speech given by the subject is the speaker. And this is the verb. This is the verb which I have introduced before I introduced the reported speech. So this is verb, but it is reported verb. Now, this is in direct speech. Teacher said, what are you doing here? So, I have written the statement given by the teacher without making any change. So, I have kept it with a double inverted comma. Okay. But now, if I express the same way, express the same sentence, express the same statement in indirect speech, then I have to make these changes. Like in most of the sentences, these reported verbs are changed depending upon the kind of sentences. that statement, that reported speech. Which kind of sentence is the reported speech? Depending upon that, we change our reported verb also. Now see here, now the most important thing is whenever we are changing direct speech into indirect speech, we have to be sure about the change of tense. See, what are you doing here? That means, what are you doing? This is an interrogative sentence and it is in present continuous tense. See, present becomes past if the direct speech is in simple present. In indirect speech it becomes simple past. If it is in simple past in direct speech, while writing it in indirect speech it becomes past continuous, past perfect. Okay, see, simple present becomes simple past, simple past becomes past perfect, and past perfect will remain the same, past perfect. In the same way, simple present will become present continuous will become past continuous will become past perfect continuous, and past perfect continuous will remain the same. Okay, understood? Now, present perfect will become past perfect will become the past perfect, same. Understood? In the same way, if the sentences are in future tense like will, would, will है तो would होगा, will becomes would, shall becomes should. If the sentences in direct speech have modal auxiliaries like can, shall, will, all these words, all these modal auxiliaries will become would, should, could, all these. These are changed as the past form of will, shall, should, can. Okay, could, should, would, etc. Understood? Now this sentence is in present continuous tense, but in interrogative sentence. So this will become interrogative sentence only, but in past continuous, and we have to remove question mark also. In indirect speech, the statement which is in interrogative sentence, because interrogative sentence uses question mark, but in indirect speech we have to remove question mark. See, teacher asked. See, this is the question. So question is asked. So I have changed reported verb also. Teacher asked me what I was doing. See here, in interrogative sentence, first comes helping verb and then subject and then main verb. But when we write it in indirect speech, to remove this question mark, I have to change the place of helping verb and subject. See what? You become, you is I, it is talking to me, so it is I, you have become I, so was doing. So here place of subject and helping verb is changed, so the sharpness of question also goes away, so we have to use full stop here. Understood? See, what are you eating? That means what I was eating. This kind of sentences. How are you means how I was, like this. Okay, so sharpness of question should be removed. Now see here, father said to me, bring my bag from the drawer. See, this is the speech here is in imperative sentence. Now, see, imperative sentence we know they are order, command, suggestion, advice. Okay, according to that we have to change the reported verb also. This is an order, so we have to be change the reported verb into order. If it would be suggestion, it would be suggested. Okay, advice, like this. We have to change reported verb. Okay. Now, these imperative sentences would be introduced by using to. Okay, like my father ordered me to bring his bag. Here my bag is father's bag, so his bag from the drawer. Okay. So both these sentences express the same thing but in different way. One is in direct way, other is in indirect way. Okay. In the same way here, mother said, I have baked this cake. This is in present perfect tense. Okay. Present perfect tense. Mother said, I have baked this cake. Okay, I have baked this cake is said by mother. So I have not made any change here. So I have put it with inverted comma. But when I am writing it, I have to remove inverted comma. Okay, I have to use this comma after the reported verb, and I have to change reported verb also depending upon the kind of sentences. Okay, and before I change this reported speech, before that I have to put the conjunction that. Okay, see here. In this sentence also I have made the same changes. Mother told. Now this is the explanation given by mother. So it is the said has been changed to told. Mother told that. See, conjunction that I have used before I change myself this reported speech into indirect speech. So that see here I is see here because it is speaking about the mother. So it is see. So have becomes had because present perfect becomes past perfect. She had baked that cake. This becomes that. See, there are some other changes of about the expression of time. That means today becomes that day, tomorrow becomes the next day, the following day. Okay, or today also becomes the same day. Yesterday becomes the previous day, the day before. Okay, this kind of changes. Now will becomes then, now will become then, and like this will become that. Okay, and these will become those, here will become there. This kind of changes we have to make. Understood? And other changes like see here, next question. Ritu said to me, I will call you tomorrow. So I will call you tomorrow is said by Ritu. So I have not made changes here. So I have put it with double inverted comma. But now in that speech I have to omit, I have to remove both these inverted commas and comma. And I also can make changes in reported verb also. So here this is also a simple explanation. So I have used changed it into told. So Ritu told me that she would. See here, will become would. Okay, I will call you tomorrow. See, I is Ritu. So Ritu becomes she here. She would call me. See, you becomes he would call me. It is about me. So it is me here. She would call me next day. So tomorrow becomes next day. Okay, so this way we have to change all sentences from direct speech to indirect speech. Okay, both the sentences express the same thing but in different way. Understood? So I hope you have understood direct and indirect speech also. Understood? Now finally we will discuss about the 8th rule of transformation of sentences. That is by changing the type of sentence according to its constituent of clauses. See here, constituent of clauses means the kinds of sentences according to their structure. See, structure, how can we divide that particular sentence depending upon how they are constituted. Okay, that means how they are framed with different clauses. Okay, so here that according to structure, that means constituent of clauses, there are 3 types of sentences. 1 is simple sentences, 2 is compound sentences, and 3 is complex sentences. Okay, see now, what are simple sentences? Simple sentences are those sentences that explain something in a simple manner and constitutes only one finite verb. Okay, simple sentences have only one finite verb, though it may carry some other non-finite verb with them, but when we try to understand them to find out the main verb, it carries only one main verb. Okay, and compound sentences means if 2 meaningful sentences are combined together to frame one meaningful sentence, then it is compound sentences. So compound sentences have two finite words, two or more finite words, and when we divide them, we can divide them equally into two meaningful sentences. Okay, and now come to complex sentences. Complex sentences also have more than two or more than two finite words. Okay, but here it depends upon the clauses, what kind of clauses they have. See, I told you in simple sentences we have only one finite word. Okay, in compound sentences we have two or more than two finite words, but here the clauses constituted here are two independent clauses. In compound sentences we have two independent clauses combined together. Two independent clauses means two meaningful sentences are combined together to give one meaningful sentence. Okay, but in case of complex sentences, we may have one dependent clauses with one independent clauses, or one independent clauses with one independent clauses, and one independent clauses with one dependent clauses. That means dependent and independent, or independent and dependent clauses together make complex sentences. Okay, so let us discuss about the examples. See here, he went to meet his grandparents. So here we will learn to transform sentences from simple to complex, from compound, from simple to complex, and again from compound to simple, compound to complex, in this way. Okay, accordingly. So if we learn once this process, simple to compound and again simple to complex, then gradually we will know how to change in other ways from complex to compound and compound to simple, like this. Okay, see here, first I have given here, he went to meet his grandparents. Here we have only one finite word, that is went. See, to meet is non-finite word. Okay, see here, he went to meet his grandparents. It is a simple sentence. Okay, now if I change it into complex compound sentence. See, he went to meet his grandparents as he wanted to meet him. See, he wanted to meet them. He wanted to meet them. This is another independent clause. If we read it, it will give us meaningful sense. He wanted to meet them. Understood? So this is independent clause. This is also independent clause. He went to meet his grandparents. Okay, by using conjunction as, we have joined two finite verbs we have. He wanted. This is finite verb and this is also finite verb. Okay, we have two finite verbs here. So the sentence is compound sentence. Okay, now I have changed simple to compound and the meaning is also same. He went to meet his grandmother. He went to meet his grandparents as he wanted to meet them. Same expression. Same meaning but different expression. No. Now see, come here, another sentence. Okay. Being punished by the teacher, he was scolded by his parents too. Being scolded by the teacher, he was scolded by his parents too. Now see here. Here we also have one finite verb, that is scolded. He was scolded. Okay. See here. Being punished. This is finite, non-finite verb. So here, though he was punished by the class teacher, comma, he was scolded by his parents too. Now see here, though he was punished, finite verb, was scolded, finite verb. So two finite verb were this. Though he was punished by the teacher. So this is dependent clause. Because it is dependent upon, he was scolded by his parents too. So it is dependent upon this another clause to give a meaningful sense. So this is dependent clause and this is independent clause. So dependent clause and independent clause together have made one meaningful sentence. So it is complex sentence. So this is how we have changed simple to compound and simple to complex. So this way also we can transform sentences. Okay, without making any change in their meaning. So I hope I have explained all the rules from 1 to 8 for the transformation of sentences without making any changes. I hope now you are able to do your exercises from your book. So this much for today's class, students. Now you can do the exercises from your book. Thank you.